Welcome to our weekly roundup of key economic and business developments in Sri Lanka for the week ending 17th March 2023. I'm Nishana Pigera. Here are the week's top stories. President urges bilateral partners to coordinate debt restructure. Sri Lanka's GDP to contract 3% in 2023, says Moody's. UK Department of International Trade promotes GSP Plus alternative. Trade union action called off as impact muted. Sri Lanka is eagerly anticipating the outcome of the IMF board meeting to be held on Monday, March 20th. The meeting will decide on the approval of the staff-level agreement for financing under an extended fund facility. Sri Lanka has secured financing assurances from all major bilateral creditors. President Ranil Wickremesinghe called on bilateral creditors to coordinate among themselves to restructure debt and confirmed that the country has not and will not make any side arrangements with any creditor aimed at reducing the debt treatment impact of that creditor. Moody's Investor Services stated that it expects Sri Lanka's gross domestic product growth to contract by 3% this year. The rating agency considers securing an IMF bailout as credit positive because it would unlock external financing, thus allowing the import of essential goods. Moody's, however, warned that protracted negotiation could risk access to external financing and potentially higher losses for private creditors. This came ahead of the Department of Census and Statistics reporting that the economy had suffered its worst ever contraction in 2022, falling 7.8% from a year earlier, with the fourth quarter falling 12.4%. All major economic activities recorded a negative growth last year, with the industrial sector declining the most at 16%. Officials from the Department of International Trade in the UK were in Sri Lanka, kicking off a roadshow on its new developing countries trading scheme. Considered as a successor to the GSP Plus, following Brexit, the scheme offers a variety of products that would benefit from lower or zero tariffs. According to Sarah Hulton, UK High Commissioner, UK is keen that there will be a great basis for ensuring that Sri Lanka takes full advantage of the new scheme. The ongoing trade union strikes across the country heightened this week, with Sri Lanka Railways and central bank trade unions joining the Professional Trade Union Alliance's 24-hour strike action. Their main demand is to amend the revised income tax policy implemented in January. However, its impact was muted as many state organizations as well as essential services operated business as usual. Subsequently, trade union action was called off. In other news, according to the SLTDA, 53,838 tourists arrived during the first 13 days of March. Daily arrivals reached 4,141, significantly higher from a year earlier. Year to date, just over 280,000 travelers have visited, with Russia being the main source market. Meanwhile, on Wednesday, the first ever MICE Expo commenced in Sri Lanka with over 150 international participants. Sri Lanka intends to position itself as a year-round business destination and expects to bring in about 1.5 million visitors this year. A delegation from China's Sinopec Group was in the country and pledged to invest in a refinery in Hambantota. This follows President Ranil Wickremesinghe's announcing that the government has decided to expand the distribution of fuel and that Hambantota has been identified as a primary energy hub. Meanwhile, the cabinet approved a 1 megawatt pilot project to install floating solar panels on the Kiriban River and Chandrika River reservoirs. The Minister of Trade, Industry and Energy of the Republic of Korea is slated to provide a grant of $5.2 million. Now let's take a look at the weekly movement of the All-Share Price Index and the S&P SL20 Index at the Colombo Stock Exchange. This week, the rupee depreciated against the US dollar. According to the central bank, the indicative spot rate was 337, with commercial banks transacting in the range of 320 to 355 rupees. This follows a two-week 17% appreciation in the currency, with many analysts pointing to such gains as being temporary. At the Treasury bill auction held on Wednesday, yields on all maturities declined. And with that, we wind up for this week. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel at the link below for more updates on economic and business developments in Sri Lanka. Until we see you again next week, thank you for watching. Stay safe.